Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about bracing and inner abdominal pressure. Bracing is the conscious effort of stabilizing the spine against extraneous movement or a load. What is inner abdominal pressure? That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. Inner abdominal pressure is using the diaphragm to, when you inhale, the diaphragm drops down into the lower abdominal cavity and it puts pressure. It starts to squeeze on your guts, which starts to expand and send that pressure in multiple directions throughout the lower abdominal cavity. Right? Once that pressure hits your abdominal wall and the thoracocolumbar fascia, say that 3 times, it hits a wall. And so what you end up with is containerized pressure. As that pressure is pressing out and it hits the abdominal wall, it gets stopped, and that creates this stable force that helps stabilize the spine and keep shit from moving around when it ain't supposed to be moving around. So, check out my drawings here. So, if we look here at our rib cage and pelvis, right? This pink band right here represents your diaphragm. So when you breathe in, the diaphragm actually pulls downward into this abdominal space, creating a vacuum in the lungs and allowing air to rush in. So as you can see, as this muscle pulls itself down into the cavity, you can create pressure. Now, if you look at this from a top-down view, right, that dot right there, that's the center of the diaphragm. It's pulling down into it and radiating pressure in all directions, right? Here's our spine right here. Here's our abdominal wall. So you can see where it meets that abdominal wall, we have pressure versus a force that's not moving. Right? We have force moving into the spine. This thoracocolumbar fascia, basically it's this web of fascia in your lower back, right? Basically running from the sacrum up to the top of your lumbar spine. That's a tough fibrous tissue. It's super, super strong. So when it hits, right, that you end up sandwiching your spine between this pressure and that fascia, and you end up with a very stable position. So how do you get this internal abdominal pressure? Well, it all starts with proper breathing. Now I know you're saying, I've been breathing my whole life. What do you mean proper breathing? Well, again, I'm glad you asked. I'll explain. So you can start by laying on your back. Lay on your back, your feet are flat on the ground, your knees are up towards the ceiling, right? You can lay your head back. I'm going to pick mine up so that we can talk and communicate. Take your hands, put them on your belly. Now, I want you to take a deep breath in. As you do, I want you to push your belly outward. As your belly expands, you should feel your hands rise. That's because your diaphragm is dropping into your lower abdominal cavity and creating expansion. So if you're breathing up here, you're not getting a full breath. You're not taking full advantage of the capacity of your lungs. So focus first on just being able to expand your belly. Spend some time here until you can confidently and consistently expand your belly on every breath. Then take your fingertips and head down south to your inguinal crease. Your inguinal crease is right there where your torso meets your leg. So basically that spot right there. Get your fingertips in there. Lay back, relax. Take a deep breath and expand into your fingertips. So not only are we going to be taking the breath into the belly and expanding the belly, we're going to be taking it all the way down to the bottom of your pelvis and expanding there too. Spend a little time there. Once you can confidently and consistently hit the lower abdominal region, your abdominal crease, take your hands to your sides. Now, I'm going to expand out, I'm going to expand down, and I'm going to expand into my sides. Good, right? Now we're starting to get multiple directions. We're going out, we're going down, we're going out to the sides. We got one more place we want to go. Take your hands, or at least one hand, but take your hands, slip them into your low back. Now, same thing. Expand the belly, down into your pelvis, out into your sides, and now back into your low back. So I want to create expansion in 360 degrees. That full rounded expansion. Now, it may take a little bit of practice, and that's totally cool. We got plenty of time. But spend time getting your breath all the way down. Get that expansion through your belly. Create that 360 expansion and feel your low back create contact with the floor. Now, once you're confident doing this, and this has become something that you're consistently hitting with your breath, now we're going to keep that pressure even on the exhale. It takes a little bit to play with it, but what you want to do is you want to get a feeling for your belly. Find it, rub it, find it. Create that expansion. Create that expansion all the way around, down into your pelvis. Your back is pasted into the floor. That's what I want to say, is pushed into the floor. And then keep that expansion. Exhale. Inhale. Inhale. Well, exhale. You know the thing. Inhale and exhale. Keeping that roundness. You can run your fingers over the muscles of your abs, right? You should not feel that indentation that separates your obliques. Where am I? Here I am. That separates your obliques from your rectus abdominis. You want that to disappear in that expansion, okay? Don't worry, it's not going to create a big round belly or anything like that. Well, just put that out of your head. That's not even a thing. What you're doing is you're creating that internal pressure in your lower abdomen. And that is what's going to stabilize your spine. If you notice, as you spend time breathing into that low back, that your low back, those muscles, your pelvis will actually tilt. It will shift, and it will get into a more neutral position. That neutral position will help the muscles along your low back elongate, okay? You're going to feel a release of tension down there. It's going to feel pretty good, right? By creating that elongation, you're going to limit the compression that takes place on the low back. When you stabilize your spine by using the muscles of your low back, what you end up doing is compressing the backside of the vertebrae, which opens up the front side. So you're actually creating the very thing that you're trying to avoid when stabilizing your spine. By creating that stable spine, by keeping the vertebral bodies even over each other and balanced over the disc, you get both the stability and none of the compression. It's a much better position for moving from and from handling loads. Once you can create this pressure, once you can create the pressure and can maintain it, then you get to play with it. The first thing you can do, once you get comfortable, right, bring your knees up. Bring your knees up. Lay your head back. It's a classic dead bug, right? Knees are up, shoulders are up off the floor. Relaxed. If you have a little discomfort with this position with your head, go ahead and put a little pillow or a prop behind your head. Here, feel for it, create that pressure. Feel the tension in your abs created by that inner abdominal pressure, not by squeezing your abs, but by pushing out from the inside. Play here. Get to where you can be conversant and maintain that pressure. Then you can start playing with heel taps, one heel at a time, making sure that you keep that low back fully planted into the floor. If you start to arch, you've lost it. Go back, reestablish, find it, create the pressure, keep it, play. Okay? You can start creating a rolling paradigm, playing with keeping that pressure all the way through the movement, not letting it collapse. From here, start moving around. Start playing with squats, goblet squats, sandbag squats, Zercher squats, front squats, back squats, any kind of movement, right? Squats are great to start with, but don't limit yourself to just squats. Start figuring out how you can move around the room, keeping that pressure. See how it changes your movement. See how it feels better. If it feels worse, pretty sure you're not doing it right. And if you've got questions about that, please get with me. We can talk about this more. We can set a session up here in the gym. We can figure out and diagnose why it's not working right and get it clear. Because this is functional human movement. It's something that we did as babies. This is how we started moving. Somewhere along the way, we got away from it. But if you can get back to it, it's going to open up so many more doors for movement and create a much more stable, dynamic body. I know that's a contradiction in terms, stable and dynamic, but if you can have stability and dynamicism, if you can be stable and dynamic at the same time, dude, that's athleticism. That's movement under control. That's what we want. That's what we're here for.